Have you ever bought a bunch of very fresh cilantro, with beautiful green leaves and a wonderful aroma, only to find that after just a few days in the refrigerator, the cilantro began to wilt, the leaves turned yellow, and some parts even became soft and limp and had to be thrown away? Cilantro is very delicious and can be used in many different dishes, but it is also one of the herbs that spoils quite quickly if we do not store it properly. Today, Mary will share with you 4 very simple ways to store cilantro. The first 2 methods are for those of you who want to keep the cilantro fresh in the refrigerator and take some out to use every day. The other 2 methods are very suitable when we buy a large amount of cilantro and want to keep it for longer in the freezer. In particular, the final method is very convenient. When cooking soup, curry, or other dishes with liquid, we only need to take out 1 cilantro cube and add it directly to the pot. Now let's begin. First, we will prepare the cilantro. When you bring the cilantro home, do not rush to put the whole bunch straight into the refrigerator. Open the bunch and inspect it carefully. Any leaves that have turned yellow, become bruised, soft, show signs of becoming waterlogged, or have become slimy should be removed. Even just a few damaged leaves mixed in with the rest can cause the surrounding cilantro to lose quality more quickly. If there is a lot of dirt or sand stuck around the base, that should also be cleaned off. Which beautiful country are you watching this video from? Leave a comment and let me know. If you want to wash the cilantro before storing it like Mary does, wash it very gently with clean water. Do not squeeze or rub the cilantro because the leaves are very soft and easily bruised. After washing, here is a very important step that you should not skip. We need to make sure the cilantro is thoroughly dry. Mary usually spreads the cilantro on a clean towel or paper towels, then gently blots away the water still remaining on the leaves and stems. If you have a salad spinner, you can also use it. Leave the cilantro for a little longer until the surface is completely dry before storing it. If the cilantro is still very wet and we put it straight into a sealed container or bag, the moisture will be trapped inside. After a few days, the leaves can easily become soft, slimy, and spoil quickly. Now the cilantro is ready. The first method. This method is very suitable if you still want to keep the whole bunch of cilantro intact and frequently take out fresh cilantro to use. Mary prepares a jar or glass of a suitable height. Before placing the cilantro in the jar, you can trim a little from the ends of the stems. You only need to cut off a very small amount so that the base looks neat and can absorb water more easily. Add a little clean water to the bottom of the jar. You do not need to add too much water. You only need enough water to cover the ends of the cilantro stems. The important thing is that the leaves above must not be submerged in the water. Now place the bunch of cilantro upright in the jar, just as if we were arranging a small bouquet of flowers. See? It looks very neat. The stems at the bottom are in contact with the water, while the leaves remain above. Then we can loosely cover the leaves with a clean bag. Do not press the bunch of cilantro too tightly. The cilantro still needs some space inside. Place the entire jar in the refrigerator. During storage, check the water regularly. If you notice that the water is starting to become cloudy or has sediment, pour it out, wash the jar thoroughly, and replace it with fresh water. One small but very important thing: if any leaves turn yellow or become soft during storage, remove them immediately. When you need to use the cilantro, simply take out the amount you need and leave the rest in the jar. I can usually keep it for a whole week and the cilantro still stays fresh, which is wonderful. The second method. If your refrigerator does not have much space for an upright jar, Mary thinks you may like this method better. Prepare a clean container with a lid. Line the bottom of the container with 1 or 2 layers of clean paper towels. The paper here helps absorb the excess moisture that appears during storage. Now we arrange the cilantro in the container. Do not pack it too tightly. Simply arrange it gently in layers so that the cilantro leaves are not pressed or bruised. Then close the lid and place the container in the refrigerator. What Mary likes about this method is that the cilantro is quite well protected. The leaves are not pressed down by other foods in the refrigerator, while the paper inside helps control the moisture. But we still need to check the cilantro after a few days. If the paper inside has become too damp, replace it with a new, dry sheet of paper towel. If you notice a few yellow leaves, they should also be removed immediately. Do not wait until the entire bunch develops an odor or becomes soft and limp before dealing with it. When you want to use the cilantro, simply take out the amount you need and close the container again. The first two methods Mary has just shared are suitable when we still want the cilantro to have a texture close to fresh cilantro. But if you have a very large bunch of cilantro at home and know for sure that you will not be able to use it all within a short time, do not try to keep all of it in the refrigerator. At this point, freezing makes more sense. The third method. With this method, the cilantro must be completely dry before chopping. If the cilantro still contains a lot of water, after freezing it can easily form into one large block and become very difficult to take out in small portions. Place the cilantro on a cutting board. You can use both the leaves and the tender stems because cilantro stems also have a lot of aroma. Cut off any stems that are too old or any part of the base that you do not want to use. Now chop the cilantro to the size your family usually uses when cooking. There is no need to chop it too finely. After chopping, Mary will place the cilantro in a small freezer-safe container. You can also use a freezer bag. If you use a bag, spread the cilantro into a relatively thin layer before sealing the bag. Doing this will make it easier for us to break off or take out a smaller amount later. Another small tip is not to press the cilantro down too firmly. Simply place a moderate amount inside and seal it tightly. Write the storage date on the outside if you often freeze different kinds of food. Then place it in the freezer. When cooking, you do not need to thaw the entire container. Simply take out the amount of cilantro you need and add it directly to the dish. However, Mary wants to point out one thing. After freezing, cilantro still retains its flavor quite well, but the texture will be softer than fresh cilantro. Therefore, frozen cilantro is more suitable for cooked dishes such as soups, curry, stews, or sauces. If you want some really nice looking cilantro to garnish a dish, fresh cilantro from the first two methods will still be more suitable. The fourth method. First, we also chop the cilantro into small pieces. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, please click the subscribe button. Prepare a clean ice cube tray and place a moderate amount of cilantro into each compartment. Mary does not pack the cilantro too full, only enough for one use. Then pour a little clean water into each compartment so that the water covers and holds the cilantro together. You do not need to fill it all the way to the top because the water will expand a little as it freezes. Now place the tray in the freezer until the cilantro cubes are completely frozen solid. Once they are frozen, you do not necessarily need to leave the entire tray like that for many months. Mary usually removes the cilantro cubes from the tray, places them in a freezer-safe bag or container, and seals it tightly. This way, the tray can continue to be used for other purposes, while the cilantro cubes are also better protected from odors from other foods in the freezer. Whenever you cook soup, curry, or stew, simply take out one cube. Add it directly to the pot. There is no need to thaw it. The ice cube will melt very quickly, and the cilantro will blend into the dish. Very convenient, isn't it? If it were you, which of today's 4 methods would you choose? Write number 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the comments so Mary knows. And if you have another way of storing cilantro that your family has used for many years, please share it with Mary and everyone. Your tip may help many people who are watching this video. If you find the video helpful, do not forget to like it and subscribe to Mary Home so that we can continue meeting again in the next simple and useful kitchen tips. Thank you very much for spending your time here with Mary. See you in the next video.